Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to Weird Little Aliens YouTube channel, because that's me. Or you can call me Noelle, or Vixen, because, yes, I'm Vixen. Call me Vixen, actually. No. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Um, if you are watching this, then you like Riverdale, or love it like me, or you are just watching it because you have nothing else to do and you're like, let me give it a chance. And then 5 minutes in, you're like, I'm out. But it's okay. Okay? Yeah, let's get into this. So I was making a video before this, but then I started getting on the Black Hood theory. And the Black Hood theories and the Black Hood itself has been in my mind rumbling around with so many thoughts and ideas and so many things that make no sense. And I'm not saying it's the writer's fault or anything. They're doing an excellent job with this show. And I'm not just saying that. I'm being honest. I do truly love Riverdale. I don't agree with the Dark Betty in the bedroom sexualizing her mental illness with Jughead. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Jughead clearly not seeing that she needs help and just going along with it. But that aside, let's get into the Black Hood. Now, okay, so Black Hood theory. Now, if you watch the new promo for episode 14, I first want to put this in. If you watch the new promo for episode 14, then at the end of the promo, you see that Veronica says, if my dad found out you snitched, you know what he would do to you, and then it shows a knife, but I'm sure that doesn't correlate with the scene where she's saying this. But when she said that, I thought, oh, you mean like when he hired Tallboy to shoot Fred? Because I 100% believe that Hiram hired Tallboy because we already know Tallboy does his bidding because he has no loyalty and he's a piece of fucking shit and I've never liked him. But it's clear that he does his bidding. So, and I feel like, okay, this is what gets me. If he was the Black Hood, the way he went about the way he went about the whole situation before shooting Fred was just very odd to me because he made it look like a robbery, whereas the other Black Hood killings weren't made to look like robberies or weren't made to look like anything other than these people were shot for their sins. So this is a real big thing to me because the Black Hood is or Black Hood is making it look like it's a robbery, and then I think he went there with the intention of killing Fred, but it's like, why would he pretend to be robbing the place but not take any money? Why wouldn't he just go in there and shoot Fred? It is kind of odd. Like, this is what gets me stuck. It's like, it just doesn't match up with the other stuff the Black Hood's done? And so I'm just curious as to why the Black Hood made it look like a robbery before shooting Fred. And what I think, is when Archie came out, it startled him and he shot Fred before Archie had a chance to protect him. And I think that's what saved Fred's life because if Archie wasn't there, Fred would be dead, I think. I mean, possibly not because the writers wouldn't have killed him off, but realistically, he would have been dead because I guarantee and I believe that Tallboy was there to kill Fred. Because we know that Hiram hates Fred. He still does. I mean, it's already talked about in episode 14 that Archie's worried they're going to use him as a pawn because Fred is running for mayor and Hermione is running for mayor. And Fred is a decent person who's going to do it the right way. And Hermione is not a decent person who's going to do it the Trump way. Which, if you like Trump, then sorry, but I don't. So, okay. So we know he hates him because he even said to Archie before he started liking Archie that he didn't like Archie being with his daughter because his dad slept with his wife, which let me first start by saying this is what gets me. This is what will forever get me is that Fred was shot, right? For his sin of sleeping with Hermione, but yet he's separated. His wife, I'm sure, is seeing someone else. He's seeing someone else. Like, they are separated. Whereas Hermione and Hiram are still married. That's a way bigger sin. And he didn't force her into this. She willingly got into this sexual relationship that ended rather quickly, but she willingly got into it, and they do have a history. But what, like, well, do they have a history? Yeah, they have somewhat of history because they did go to the same school together, but he was with Mary, and I believe she was with Hiram. But it's like, it just gets me because Fred was shot for his sin of being an adulterer, but yet Hermione was not harmed in any way, and yet she sinned the most. That's what gets me, is that he was separated from his wife, so it's not really a sin. They both agree to see other people. They're both, seeing other people. I even believe that she said she was seeing a lawyer at one point or something. So it's not like they're still married and he cheated on her. They're separated. Whereas Hermione and Hiram are still married. And so that's always gotten me why Fred was the one punished for being an adulterer when really it was Hermione. And I truly believe that Hiram hired Tallboy to shoot Fred. And I mean, like I've said, it's proven that Tallboy will do whatever Hiram asks because he has no loyalty and he's a piece of shit. Like I said. And it also makes sense because he clearly does not like Jughead. He said it. He clearly hates that Betty is involved in anything serpent related because to him she's not a serpent. So it would make sense that, like, okay, so if I am right, because until I'm proven wrong, I'm right in my opinion. But until I'm proven wrong, Tallboy, I believe, was hired by Hiram to kill Fred. But Archie, thankfully being there, saved him and was able to make sure, like, able to get him hit in a spot that wouldn't automatically kill him. Because if Archie wasn't there, he realistically would have been dead. I know I probably said this already, but I'm just saying it again. So so we have that whole Black Hood, and that whole Black Hood situation was just weird. I'm pretending to rob the place, but I'm not going to take any money, and then, I'm going to shoot. Because that's another thing. If he went in there to rob the place, then why wouldn't he take any money? And also, Fred was the only one in there, so that's another big thing, because maybe he made it look like a robbery so that yeah, he probably made it look like a robbery. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but maybe it's just the guy made it look like the guy was gonna rob the place, and he saw that Fred was standing up, and he saw that Archie was coming in, and he freaked out, panicked, and shot and hit Fred. But I just don't believe it. I believe that Hiram had Tall Boy or someone, but Tall Boy, I believe, go to kill Fred. I do believe that. I do. And thankfully, Archie being there helped him. But, and that's another reason why I think he didn't kill Archie because that wasn't his assignment. That wasn't his goal. His goal was to shoot Fred, and he hoped he would kill him, but he did not, so. But it's not like it's not like Fred can lead them back to whoever shot them. But, so with that whole thing, now, like I said, we know that Hiram hates Fred. We know this. He said it to Archie. He does not like Fred whatsoever. And in a heartbeat, he would throw Fred under the bus. Hermione, maybe, but at the same time, I feel like she'd be conflicted because I think she does like Fred and she doesn't want him to be the pawn. But then again, her with Hiram is a totally different Hermione than we knew first season. It's a lot she's a lot more vindictive and kind of emotionless, I feel like. She has her moments where she's just really crazy. Like, I mean, just seeing that moment with her saying, like, her being the one who's in charge, when she meets Archie on that ledge, which could it be any creepier? It's like, are you gonna push him off or what? But thankfully not, because he's now in the family, which means mafia family. Okay. But, anyways, so, the Black Hood. So, we have that whole Fred thing. Now, what gets me about the Black Hood, now, if Tallboy was the one to shoot Fred, and he was hired by Hiram, then is it possible that Tallboy continued on being the Black Hood and doing Hiram's bidding? And now, hold on. Okay. He is doing his bidding. So, I'm curious as to if Tallboy did shoot Fred if he is the actual Black Hood, you know. But okay, sorry, I'm jumping from part to part, but it's just so much, and I'm just like, ugh, my mind is overflooded with Black Hood theories. Now, I don't believe Chick is the Black Hood because I've seen a lot of the main male characters matched up with the Black Hood and his mask, and the one that most looks like the Black Hood is Tallboy. There's a little tiny difference, but it still looks exactly like Tallboy. Now, the recent one was the FBI agent was possibly the Black Hood, but it didn't match up, and I don't believe that. I just believe he works for the lodges and probably kills people for them. Who knows? But I definitely think Tallboy is the Black Hood, but the picture I seen was when Fred was shot. So which also well, it is the picture because that's like the first time we really got to see the face of the Black Hood, like the full face, the eyes and everything. So that's like a big thing to kind of compare. But with the Black Hood is if Fred was, you know what I think? Okay, I've said this before, but I forgot all about Miss Grundy. But I think because um I know that everyone knows about Archie and Miss Grundy. It's not news, and I'm sure Tallboy and all the serpents or Tallboy alone knew that Jason was one of Miss Grundy's students. And like everyone knows because they found out at the party and there were some serpents there. So it is possible, that he knew about Miss Grundy. So I believe that Hiram hired Tallboy to shoot Fred and then to make it look like this guy known as the Black Hood was on this righteous path to take down people who sinned, which not that I'm saying not that I'm complaining that Miss Grundy's dead because she deserved it because she's fucking a child molester basically. But I think they killed her to kind of make it look like it wasn't just one certain person they were after. They kind of wanted to throw the cops off a little bit and have another murder in another town, but with someone who was connected to Riverdale at one point. And I mean, they killed her a brutal way, but I feel like that was to cover their tracks. Now, with that being said, if Tallboy is the one who shot Fred and killed Miss Grundy, then does that mean that he is the Black Hood after that? If Because maybe he is the Black Hood and Hiram is pulling the strings. Because as we know, I mean, like, what makes no sense to me is that a lot of people who were punished for their sins were like baby sins. They weren't even big sins. And a lot of the stuff wasn't even really sins, like the whole um Black Hood torturing Betty and making her post that thing about her mom. That wasn't really a sin. That was just trying to ruin her reputation, which who would want that? Hiram Lodge, maybe? Like, I'm just saying because she's not afraid to say what she wants to say, and she'll call them out. I mean, like mother, like daughter, Betty and Alice are a lot alike, more than they know. But, so, sorry, I gotta pause because, sorry, okay, so yeah. So, the Black Hood, so um, a lot of the things he did to people for their sins just made no sense because you went after people who weren't really sinners so much. I mean, Miss Grundy, of course, was. And yeah, doing drugs and having sex in a park isn't like a great thing. I guess drugs are a sin. But then again, kids do it. It's not uncommon. And so that was a little odd to me. Why them? And he doesn't even kill these people, which I mean, I know Moose protected Midge, but Moose got hit a lot, and for him to still survive is crazy. But it's like the Black Hood's killing people, but not, because the only person he's killed so far, right, is Miss Grundy. I'm sorry if I'm missing someone, it's just, there's a lot going on in my head, and it's kind of hard to keep track of who he's exactly killed. So far, it's only been Miss Grundy who has been killed by the Black Hood, whoever that may be. Which, I mean, unless, like, it could be Tallboy was hired by Hiram to kill Fred and then kill Miss Grundy to cover it up and make it look like something else and not lead back to Hiram. But then who started taking over for the Black Hood? Because did someone see this Black Hood all of a sudden and think, ooh, I'm going to continue on with this righteous path, which is not really a righteous path because, yeah, they did things like they got that teacher who was dealing drugs out of Southside High, but then that person was immediately killed in a prison cell, which is also very interesting to me. How the fuck did he get into a jail, into where the prisoners are kept without being seen, without anyone hearing the gunshot, without any video cameras capturing this person? So that leads me to believe it's an inside job. Now, Sheriff Keller could be that person, but then again, I don't know if he could. But then again, his son is gay, and that is a big sin. So why wasn't he attacked? That's another interesting thing. You know, I think Hiram is behind it, but then again, I think he's behind it because Hermione wasn't attacked, but Fred was, and yet Hermione did worse than Fred. And then it's like, uh, Kevin wasn't attacked for being gay, which is the biggest sin out of, I think, all the sins that were punished, except for Miss Grundy because she's a child molester. And it leads me to believe maybe Sheriff Keller could be the Black Hood, but then again, I don't really think he is. I don't believe he is. I mean, I just, it would make sense. He is a sheriff, he doesn't want drugs. Actually, it would make a lot of sense if Sheriff Keller was it. I mean, his son, who is gay, was not harmed in any way, and yet that's the biggest sin besides Miss Grundy, so that is a little odd. He has access to the police station whenever he wants. I mean, he can go in and out without anybody thinking anything of it. Um, and I mean, hold on. Okay, sorry. And I mean, he is a cop, and of course, he doesn't want drugs around his town. And also, he doesn't want drugs around his town. So it's just like, God, it's so crazy because it's like to shoot two kids. I mean, that takes something inside you to do that. Um, so like Sheriff Keller, there's a lot adding up to where he could be the Black Hood. I mean, he is a sheriff and he doesn't want drugs in his town, which would make sense why he shot Midge and Moose. But then again, he could have just get went after the source of this whole drug thing, which was the teacher at Southside High. But instead, he waited and did that later on and had the help of Betty because Betty can figure out anything because she's the shit. Um, Nancy Drew at your service, all I'm saying. But it's just like there's a lot of things, adding up for Sheriff Keller. I could definitely see why people might think he's a Black Hood, and I can definitely see why I'm starting to think it. But at the same time, like I've said, I believe that Hiram had Fred shot by Tallboy, and then they killed Miss Grundy. Or maybe Hiram hired Tallboy to shoot Fred, and then maybe after the Black Hood went viral, maybe then people took it upon themselves to be the Black Hood and go on this righteous path, which wasn't really a righteous path because you completely overlooked a ton of sinners who were doing way worse, like Mayor McCoy and Sheriff Keller having an affair, which is another red flag because they're having an affair when she's married, he's separated. So wouldn't that be the same as Fred and Hermione? So why weren't they punished? And it also makes sense also that so that's one reason another reason why Sheriff Keller I think could be the Black Hood, and plus he's pretty fucking buff and he's working out and it's kind of creepy when Veronica went down there. But then another thing is what gets me. But then what makes me think it is Tallboy who is the Black Hood is because we know Tallboy hates Jughead. We know he hates Betty being anywhere involved with the serpents because she's not a serpent in his eye, which he isn't either because he's an unloyal piece of shit. But so it would make sense why she was the one tortured by the Black Hood because Tallboy hates her and doesn't like that she's part of the serpents, therefore making her break up with Jughead so that that would be severed. And also, now the one thing that gets me is why he would want her to stop being friends with Veronica. And that could lead me to believe that maybe he's just trying to punish her and wants her to lose her friendships. But then again, why just Veronica? That's just what kind of gets me. Why just Veronica? There's so much stuff. Like right now, I'm torn between Hiram hiring Tallboy to shoot Fred and then becoming this Black Hood on this righteous path for Hiram, you know. But then at the same time, Sheriff Keller also looks like a very credible suspect. I'm kind of torn. I still believe that Tallboy is the one who shot Fred because of Hiram, but at the same time, there is a lot that you could say about Sheriff Keller that could make you believe he is the Black Hood. So I know Tallboy shot Fred. Like, I feel like he did anyways until I'm proven wrong. Now, I don't know whether he's the Black Hood or not, but it makes a lot of sense, like I said, with the whole Betty thing and him torturing her, and because he does not like her. So it would make sense, because why would Sheriff Keller have a reason to torture Betty? I mean, that's Kevin's best friend. I just don't see why there would be a reason. I don't know, maybe he's never liked her family, maybe, I don't know. And then another thing, it's like the Black Hood wanted Betty to basically ruin Alice's reputation, and it's kind of like that's not really a sin. So it's like that's kind of odd to me because I feel like there's a personal vendetta hidden beneath this righteous path that the Black Hood is on. And what still gets me is the janitor and the Reaper story, like it still gets me. And that I don't know if that black guy is ever going to be shown because he was on the way to Greendale and he was just super fucking creepy. But it will still get me with the janitor and the Reaper because I mean, he's the only one out of his family to survive the Reaper killing his family. And that to me just stands out. Like, did he escape? Did he hide in the woods, But then what if he happened to see the Reaper and the Reaper couldn't let that happen? Did he get away somehow? Did he possibly know the Reaper? Did he let the Reaper in? Was his family doing something like not good, like sexually assaulting the kids, or were they doing things that just weren't right, like sins? And so I still feel like there's something between the janitor and the Reaper. I feel like there's a connection. And I know we haven't seen anything about it yet. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there's a connection between the Reaper and the janitor. And I also wonder why the janitor would take the fall for being the Black Hood if he is not the Black Hood, because it's clear he's not the Black Hood. And also, what's crazy, I just thought about it, the FBI agent even like said like he's probably not the Black Hood, like he was agreeing with Archie, which makes me think, hmm, why would because I know he's been following him. Like, how long has guy been following him? This is creepy. Like, I'm assuming he's the one taking these pictures of Archie and Veronica, when they were getting their pictures taken outside of his house. I'm guessing that was the FBI agent. But then again, why would he be taking pictures of them? Like, that's kind of odd because maybe it is the Black Hood, the real Black Hood, taking pictures. But why just Veronica and Archie? So I'm curious as to that. It's just, you have so many sinners in this town, and yet the people who sinned like barely any are the ones who were punished, and it just makes no sense that why a lot of people weren't punished. And with Sheriff Keller, there's reasons why he could be the Black Hood that makes sense, and with Hiram there's reasons that he could be the Black Hood, not Hiram himself but Tallboy. But so I don't know if Hiram decided I feel like maybe Tallboy just decided to continue on with this Black Hood and go on this righteous path, and in the process torture Betty. But then how does this person know so much about her? That's what gets me. That's what also makes me think maybe it is Sheriff Keller, because she did grow up with Kevin. I'm sure she was at his house many, 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 many times. So he would know a lot about her. So that's also another thing that plays into Sheriff Keller being the Black Hood, because whoever is the Black Hood knows a lot about Betty. But it's like at the same time, what if it's not even the Black Hood? What if it's someone just messing with her? But it clearly has to be the Black Hood. Like, I'm sorry this is so long. It's just the Black Hood thing is just driving me nuts. Like, there's so many things that could lead to Sheriff Keller being the Black Hood, and there's so many things leading to Hiram hiring Tallboy to be the Black Hood, or like at least kill Fred, and then Tallboy decide to take upon himself and just do this Black Hood whole thing. Or maybe after this whole Black Hood blew up, someone decided, I'm going to be the Black Hood. Because of course we know it's not the janitor, but then why would he cut off? Well, if he even did actually cut off his own thumb, it could have been someone else. But why would he take the fall? That's what gets me. He has to have a connection to these people, to the Black Hood, whoever it is, for him to be willing to take the fall for them. But it didn't work because Archie knows that this is not the Black Hood that shot his father, which it's Tallboy. All I'm saying. But yeah, the Black Hood is just so, like, God, I'm just so intrigued, and I'm so curious to see who the Black Hood is. Now, Chick is a very sketchy character, and I mean, Hart said there's a lot of, like, just wait, there's good reasons for what he's doing, but at the same time, I don't really see the good reasons at all. I just see a creepy ass fuck who's cutting out pictures of Hal, which, don't get me wrong, I don't like Hal one bit, but it's so weird, like, and then him saying to Betty, like, oh, wouldn't it be so much better if it was just me, you, and Mom? And it's like, and he didn't even include Polly, which I know Polly's gone, but then she comes back because he is holding one of her babies, which is kind of creepy because his face is kind of just like nothing. Like, there's definitely something there, and that's why I'm glad in episode 15 Betty and Kevin team up to figure out what he's hiding, and Kev's is the perfect person for this because he's been down the deep dark rabbit hole of the internet, so he knows stuff, and what they find I don't think is going to be good. And now also the whole him fighting the drug dealer over and then acting surprised that he was there and then killing him in self-defense and then acting all shaken up and then fake crying, and it's like this guy is known for playing different characters on the webcam, so it's not hard for him to act shaken up or cry. And even Betty didn't believe it, which I didn't believe it. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, really, dude, like, save your tears for Alice, who actually believes you, because Alice, she already lost Polly. I understand she doesn't want to lose another kid. I understand that. But we don't know where this is going to lead. This could lead into a really bad place. So I'm intrigued to see. I don't think he's the Black Hood. Um, I mean, it would. I would be mind blown if he somehow is connected to the Black Hood. I just don't see that. He has his own agenda, and I don't think it's good. I just wanted to put that in there because I'm excited to see finally Betty delve deeper into what exactly Chick is hiding and what his agenda is before everything gets out of hand. But yeah, so I want to say that about the Black Hood because the Black Hood is just so interesting to me because everything that the Black Hood has done, or the so-called Black Hood, because we really don't know if the person who shot Fred was the Black Hood, because he made it look like a robbery, which the Black Hood didn't do in any other thing. And it's just like Tallboy has a lot of reasons for wanting to torture Betty and for wanting her to ruin her relationship with Jughead. But the Veronica one I'm a little confused about. And then the Archie one, I feel like why he was going to be buried is because he talked back on the phone. But then again, it could be something different. Like, God, the Black Hood is so fucking interesting to me. Like, I'm so curious, and so much is going on in my mind. But right now, Tallboy and Sheriff Keller are my top two. I definitely, like I said 100 times, I believe Hiram hired Tallboy to kill Fred, but that did not happen, thankfully, because I just don't think they would kill Fred off, because I mean, they could and have Mary come back, but I just don't think that would happen. But, yeah, so I'm just very intrigued to see if the person who shot Fred is the actual Black Hood. But it just drives me nuts that Fred is not the adulterer. Hermione is, and yet she was harmed in no way. It's like these people who are the biggest sinners are harmed in no fucking way. And it's like, how are you on this righteous path trying to make the world a better place when you're allowing the lodges to destroy the South Side and to destroy people's lives and their homes? Like, how is that helping Riverdale? Like, it's just so confusing, and I'm so curious to see what comes next. Like, I really want to get more into this Black Hood. Like, I don't want to have to wait till season 3 because I just got too much going on in my head about the Black Hood. I am so sorry this is so long, but the Black Hood is so interesting to me, and there's just so much. Like, there's, like I said, Tallboy, and then there's, Hiram pulling the strings possibly, and there's Sheriff Keller, and then there's the janitor and the Reaper, and why he took the fall, and how he is the only one in his family to get away from the Reaper, and how Sheriff has his reasons. Well, like, I don't understand why he'd want to punish Betty or torture her, but he also would be the person who knows a lot about her. So that's what makes me think he maybe is the Black Hood. And I mean, he is having an affair with Mary McCoy, and yet he wasn't punished for that sin. Well, she should have been because she's still married. He's separated. But anyways, so yeah, like, I'm just intrigued. And then, Tallboy, of course, does not like Betty, does not like Jughead, but the whole Veronica thing kind of throws me off. Maybe Hiram didn't want Veronica to be friends with Betty, but then again, I don't see why. Maybe it was just, he wanted her to kind of start losing her friends, and maybe that was the whole point, but that's not exactly how it worked out. Um, but yeah, I'm just so intrigued by the Black Hood, and yeah, God, I don't know. There's just so much with so many different characters that each have their own reason and each have information that could mean they are the Black Hood. But for all we know, it could be anybody. It could be someone we would never expect. It could be the Reaper that disappeared and no one ever saw again. Well, they said that they killed him, so maybe it's not the Reaper, but then again, you never know. But it's just like, I'm so intrigued. And it's like, I hope we get to find out more about the Black Hood. Hopefully, by the season finale, we will find out more about the Black Hood because there's actually something I really want to read real quick. I'm so sorry this is so long. But this is for, let me just get it over. This is for episode 16, and it says Archie takes matters into his own hands. An unexpected turn of events leads the town to realize their darkest chapter may be far from over, which leads me to believe that the Black Hood comes back into play in episode 16, which brings back those dark times and those dark moments and stuff. So I'm really intrigued to see what exactly is going to happen. So I'm hoping the Black Hood comes back into play because clearly it does, because by reading that, that's what it sounds like. Their darkest time has come back to haunt them. It's back. The Black Hood is back. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about the Black Hood. Sorry it's so long again, but it's just so much. It's so confusing. Like, for all we know, it could turn out to be Chick, but then again, he doesn't match the person behind the Black Hood. Maybe it's more than one, I don't know. I'm just so intrigued, and I hope that we find out who the real Black Hood is by the end of season 2, which I feel like, by reading what I just read, that clearly the Black Hood comes back when they thought that the Black Hood was gone for good, which Archie didn't think so. But so I'm intrigued to see, and I'm just curious to see who the Black Hood is because everyone has their own reasonings, and there's a lot of things that don't add up, and a lot of people that should have been punished but weren't. So I'm curious as to who the Black Hood is, if it's the same person who shot Fred, if it's Tallboy, if it's Sheriff Keller. So I can't wait to see who the real Black Hood is, and I'm excited. So, yes, tell me who you think the Black Hood is, or tell me what you think's gonna happen. I mean, could Chick be working with the real Black Hood? But then again, he really wouldn't know much about Betty and them because he did say he only found out about them when he turned 18, but that could be a lie. I'm just saying. He could have snuck their records and kept track of them but then again, who's taking these pictures? Like that's what's curious to me cuz like I think it's the FBI agent, but then at the same time, why would he be taking pictures of Veronica and Archie kissing? Like, I don't know what that has to do with anything. So, what if it was the real Black Hood taking pictures? But then, why would he be taking pictures of just Archie and Veronica? Like, it's just so much stuff, people. Like, you gotta, like, I know I'm just rambling, but it's just so much stuff. So, I want to know your opinions. I want to know what you think, who you think the Black Hood is, why you think they're the Black Hood, what your evidence is. I'm very curious because there is just so many possibilities and so many things going on in my head, and things don't add up, and I want to know what you guys think, and I can't wait to see when we find out who the real Black Hood is and why exactly he did all this, except for his "I'm on the righteous path," which you really aren't. And so, yeah, that's all I want to say. So, I hope you enjoyed this, the Black Hood talk. Um, yeah, and if you'd like to see more videos of this, then just let me know or give it a thumbs up, which you could just give it a thumbs up because you like it, which also you could give it a thumbs up because you like it, but you don't want to see more. So if you want to, just comment and tell me if you'd like to see more about me talking about things like this in Riverdale because I have a lot to say. Clearly, this is already 37 minutes, so I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed this, and yes, Riverdale returns March 7th, episode 14. I'm super stoked. Get ready. But yes, this was Riverdale Talk with Noelle, the Black Hood theory, and all that leads to the Black Hood. So, yes, enjoy.